welcome back to another episode of the Higher Level podcast. So tonight, joining us on the show, first up we have Rab Truesdale joining us, and I've got to comment straight away on the attire. It is absolutely flawless.
Beautiful, isn't
it? Cheers for coming on, lads. So we're going to talk a wee bit about the fights that just happened at the weekend there, but mainly what we wanted to talk about, obviously, Rab, you've got a fight coming up. So the fight's now moved. It's moved to September now. Just before we talk about your opponent and stuff like that, what was the reasoning behind the movie dates?
I got a message saying, obviously, that was able to fight the 5th because they'd lost. I think it was something to do with the council. They'd something to do with the venue. Plus, they'd lost their main event, which is quite a big name. So I think they wanted to move it to the 5th. I don't know what played a bigger factor, whether if it was something to do with the council, or if it was just because they lost a big name and it's going to be on pay-per-view. So maybe a couple of those things played a part on it getting moved.
So that do you think that they're probably thinking as well, obviously with the names they've lost, it'd have an effect on the numbers and just how much money the show can actually take in?
Possibly, because it was meant to be the same event, the same venue as the 5th of September. So I don't know. Got to take things with a pinch of salt. I mean, losing your main event when you're trying to, there's no fans going to be there anyway. So the only revenue coming in is through that pay-per-view, and to lose your main draw is probably maybe enough to move it. They did say some stuff about the council and that, but I don't know. It's not the first weekend in September anyway, so.
I'd imagine for any promoters, especially regional promoters who don't have masses of money like the UFC, Bellator and that, it's not an easy thing to put a show on. It's a difficult. I mean, it's hard to make money in MMA for an MMA promoter under normal circumstances, but with everything else that's going on, this is going to be a challenge for any guy that's putting on regional shows or UK shows.
I don't know how they do it, to be honest. I mean, let's just fingers crossed it goes on. I know there's shows that have said they're going to have events and they're getting cancelled left, right and centre now, so fingers are crossed that it actually does go ahead. I mean, everything looks in place. There's other matchups and that scheduled for that event, so always looking good to know. But I mean, all it takes is another rise in this COVID and it could be, you know what, we're not allowed, we can't, the government's not going to let us, so we just got to keep the fingers crossed and hope that it's going to take place.
Is that something you sort of need to put to the back of your mind when you're training and preparing for the fight? That obviously there's always a risk where fights can get cancelled with injury and that, but this is a bit unprecedented where it's potentially full shows that are getting cancelled. Is that something you just need to put to the back of your mind? It's out with your control, so all you can do is put the work in.
It's out with my control, but it was a blessing in disguise, to be honest. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I had a couple of niggles and whatnot, and so getting pushed back was a favour for me, to be fair. I was having a couple of issues, I was getting them sorted, and when they came on and said it and pushed back, as long as I got the time off my work, then everything was much better, because now I've got an extra 5 weeks or whatever it was for the original date. So it was a blessing in disguise for me, to be honest. So it means I've got an extra 5 weeks of training. I can really ramp up things a bit better and ease off the wee niggles that I had.
So it just gave you that time just to physically heal some things, and I guess as well when you're feeling better and you get rid of some niggles, it does show in your training, I would imagine.
100%. I mean, I don't think I've ever went into a fight feeling 100% anyway, and most fighters will tell you that. They always pick up wee niggles here and there, but this was probably more than a wee bit of a niggle. I was having to go and see some professional help as well to try and get it sorted, and it was going to be touch and go. Well, it was going to go ahead with the injury, and I seen this guy who's just a magician with his hands. It was Charlie Johnson, actually. there's a chiropractor in Motherwell. I think it's Maple Clinics or something like that, Motherwell. So I'll give them a shout because they've really helped me. And after seeing this guy, I've seen him every couple of days, man, just to try and get this fight going for August. And he was able to sort me, so right, it was going to be good. And then as soon as I started easing off, seeing the chiropractor, I got announced that it was going to be another 5 weeks. I was like, I'll take that. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. And it's something obviously Stevie can speak to you as well, because if there's ever a fighter who said rope it off, it's you, Stevie. you can speak to it. I'm sure you can comment on that.
Kieran Malone was messaging me the other day saying I'm the Dan Anderton MMA. Just constantly injured, man. I'm a nightmare, but just seem to get injuries all the time. Daniel Prota. Just a nightmare, man. But it kind of comes with the nature of the sport, but my ones came to be kind of longer term ones, which is more frustrating. It's not just niggles. You always fight with like some sort of injury. Like you never get through a fight camp kind of unscathed usually anyway. But man, it's a part of the sport, but some are luckier than others with them. But some folk have got special supplements to help them.
Aye.
I'm unfortunately got that.
No. You said obviously Mike, you've seen pictures of Mike Tyson recently. Come on, man. He's looking. Whatever he's doing, it's working. But he's not just smoking weed and training.
Nobody's actually caring anyway. Everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see just what happens when you're that age and you go in and fair enough, he's probably shooting up whatever he's got his hands on, but I just hope he doesn't get hurt. I didn't mind him taking the exhibition and maybe another couple of exhibitions, if that's what it's going to be, is an exhibition and it's agreed they're not going to go full pelt on each other. Do you know what I mean?
It's one
they
thing
could make a bit of cash for that, because obviously the boy's a bit skint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't know how the guys like can get skin with the money he's made.
If you've read his book, man, you'll know how.
He was into it.
He was balling. But here's the thing with Mike Tyson.
He's buying stars and everything. Who does that?
I know. Kid Mike Tyson, do you think he could get in there after the first few punches are thrown? Do you think it's in that guy to go light? Or do you think he just switches back to the old Iron Mike back in the day?
It's hard, man.
It seems pretty chill after he's had a joint. They sit the two of them down, get a couple of joints before they go in and chill out.
Aye. Just back onto your fight, Rab. So obviously you're going in there against Mindaugas Gerve. It's a fight that's been bubbling away for a while. Is there a level of excitement now that the date is now set, hopefully, and nothing happens in terms of COVID, and you're feeling better than you did before? You're just eager to get in there?
Pretty eager to get in there, mate. Aye. The fact that all the other shows only taking place or because of this COVID, it's a wee bit of excitement. It's going to be a strange one in front of no fans, and I want to say, like, I remember back in 2020 when there wasn't any shows, the COVID hit, but I was still able to get a fight, and it was weird because I had no fan. It's just another story to add to the MMA journey that we're on. So I think it'll be pretty cool just to look back on the years to come and say, during that time I was still training, we still managed to do this and do that, and here's who I fought. You know what I mean? And it'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's just strange times now, and I think obviously it's a big fight as well, so I'm really excited to get in there and show what I can do. I've been improving, and I think I'm getting better and better since I've been back on the scene, so I'm really looking forward to it.
It's a people's main event, Rab.
Sorry?
It's a people's main event.
The people's main event.
He's getting crafty.
You're right, we are the people, Stevie. We are the people.
I was waiting for that one, wasn't he?
He's falling right into them today, isn't he?
Oh, aye. Obviously, there's been a bit of needle as well between you two, a wee bit of back and forth online. I mean, you look like you've been having fun, mate, to be fair, Rab. I mean, you've been arguing with his missus and all that as well.
Aye, it's been brilliant, mate. I mean, my memory is shit anyway, but aye, they tagged me in a post with him and his missus in it, and it was just some shit. And anyway, so I took that, I took that same post and put it on Facebook. And says, check this while I put it. And then the next minute, his wife is asking me to take it down, saying that Mindaugas doesn't know that I'm texting you. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be fucking brilliant. I can't wait. To be fair, man, if he wasn't such a big prick, I probably would have, because she seemed nice. Do you know what I mean? I just thought, fuck him. Do you know what I mean? I'll get one up in you this way. I couldn't imagine my wife texting another fighter saying, do you know what I mean? So I'd be embarrassed, and I'm pretty sure he was embarrassed as well. He told me it, as I told you before, I was sitting pissed one night, as you do, and I thought, fuck it. He's talking about this shit on Facebook. He said, I'm going to fucking phone him on Facebook through a video message. I phoned him, he absolutely pissed, and he's going, oh, Rab. I'm like, see you prick. I'll come down to Liverpool the Moo. I'll come into your back garden and kick fuck at you. So it's quite funny,
fucking hell. It is, man. It does add to it and all that. And obviously, the other thing is, like you say, no crowd there. What I'm wondering is, do you think there's going to be a bit of a conversation going on in the cage? Do you think there'll be much of that happening down there?
Well, we've had a bit of that in the last fight with Paul Craig. He's spouting his piss in the corner and somebody telling him to shut the fuck up whilst the fight was going, do you know what I mean? So I'll be used to that. Anyway, I don't think there'll be too much talk. I'll just be trying to concentrate on the job in hand. So maybe there will be, I don't know. I've never experienced it, so I don't know what it's going to be like. I mean, in sparring, I like to play about in that, and sometimes we'll mess about and have a giggle and say some shit, just funny shit. So I don't know. You can't really be funny when you're trying to seriously take the fucking head off some guys, you know what I mean? Whereas in the gym we're just playing, but I really want to just take the fucking head off this guy, do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Aye, very good. Fucking just playing and sparring. You should try and fucking spar me, you can.
So I feel like there's a wee inside story here that Stevie wants to elaborate on. So
when I was first starting, I'd probably Big Rab fucking training probably for a pro fight. I didn't even fought yet. So Big Rab tricks me into going to the wee cage at the dojo down in Alaba at Josh's bit. So I was down sparring with him. Now this cage, there's barely enough space for me and Rab in the cage, right? So anyway, we put the fucking gloves on and I got basically punched, getting battered off a heavyweight for 5 rounds. Honestly, I went to sleep, man. My head was fucking killing me. It was killing me, man.
The best one I can remember, Stevie, the best one I can remember is when we were training. That's what I'm going to say. We were training, it was with Brian Stevenson and Socky at Al-Semi Yen, whatever it was at the time. And I was on top of you, and we were doing it again, MMA sparring. I'm sure I was in mount or something, and I was just throwing the wee light punches just to show, look, I'm on top, you need to fucking move, or else in a real fight you'd be getting tanked. And then he does this wee up punch, a wee sucker punch for the bottom, like, I was like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, I look at him and he looks at me and he gives a wee giggle and he goes, again. And he fucking do that again, I'm going to knock you out. So I was like, here we go, but fucking. That was quite funny.
Aye, good old days.
What was that, Stevie? Just a wee bit of poking the bear for some fun?
Aye, you've got to, man. He's fucking got about fucking 40 kilo on me. Throw my bit of empty tracksuit.
And the other thing I saw, Rab, as well, is obviously Craig put a post up just to get guys in training. So have you started doing Shark Tanks and stuff like that yet? What's that been like?
But the guys that we've got are obviously at the gym are most of them are a lot lighter than me. So Mark came up with try to get some heavyweights in and keep it on the QT. So I'll probably know go into all the guys or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know what the rules are now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But so hopefully we've got some heavyweights, some good guys, some solid guys coming in to get some Shark Tank wins. We're already doing it now with grappling and whatever with some of the boys in the gym. But just to get some heavier guys in different body types. get some sparring done with them or some grappling done with them would be pretty good. Hopefully we can keep it going, because there isn't that many heavyweight guys in Scotland, do you know what I mean? So it'd be good to get everybody together.
That was what I was going to say. Is that one of the most challenging things as a heavyweight? Is just try to get guys, big guys that are around that size, to get in and train.
Pretty much, man. There is. I mean, see, for the stand-up, you're all right, but when it comes to wrestling, like Steve said, you've got like some guys are like 30 kilo or whatever, and I'm wrestling with them. It's a bit much to ask. You get on top, and it's like fucking no chance to get me off. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
But so with some of the bigger guys, it'll give me more of a challenge, and obviously be a wee bit more realistic with who I'm going to be coming up against.
Aye. And the other thing, especially at heavyweight, and it's pretty much the same through every organisation, is you must be looking at this and thinking a win here, potentially a win here, or maybe a couple more wins, and you've got to be looking at some big shows, because the heavyweight divisions in a lot of the big shows are not as deep as the lightweights and stuff like that. They just don't have as many bodies. Is that something that's in your thinking now, that potentially a big win here, or maybe one more even, and there is that shot of maybe moving on and getting an opportunity in a really big show?
I mean, 100%. If you ever look through my record, you'll see that the guys that, even from day one on that, I was always looking to compete against guys who I thought they were, or who everybody else thought were likely to beat me, or were a challenge. So the boys that I thought of, I mean, there's some big names on that record that I've got, and even the guys that I've been beat off. I mean, some of them are top-notch guys, so they're highly thought of throughout Europe. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult. There isn't very many heavyweights going about. So you're right. A couple of wins. I mean, since I came back, the first play I thought, albeit he was massive, juicy or whatever, you know what I mean? But he could still bang, and he had a decent record from a decent gym. So we dealt with that, and then obviously we had Tony next, who's well respected within the UK. I mean, he's fought the who's who of the UK. Do you know what I mean? As well. So I mean, going with the rankings and stuff like that, I just in typology, I just moved into the top 10. So I quite like all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's something you can say to the kids and look back on and say, well, do you know what I mean? I was top 10 in UK, and it's nice for them to know that. But with regards to Mindaugas, I mean, he's ranked above me, and you know what? A win against him will put me maybe, hopefully, 1 or 2 fights, like you say, and it could be a bigger promotion. I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know how deep all these promotions, the heavyweight divisions are. I just don't know. So it's like, you would think maybe 1 or 2 wins against these guys would take me there. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway. That's the plan.
I mean, out with the UFC and the heavyweight division isn't massively deep in the UFC, but they've got some good, obviously really good guys here, like Tom Aspinall just came in and great performance. But like your Bellators and stuff like that, Stevie, maybe you can come in this, and KSW. There definitely shows that don't have a massive pool of heavyweights, and I think shows that are always looking for guys.
I think heavyweight and light heavyweight, I think you're in a better shout than anybody else for getting into a big promotion. And Rab can't be far away, man. I think, like he says, 1 or 2 fights. And this guy that he's got next ranked above him, so it would be a big win for him. And then
that Mindaugas has actually fought on Bellator, I believe. He fought Tony Mustard.
That's what I was going to say. That Tony fought there too, didn't he? So
when you look at that, I can't be that far away. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll take you back to that fight, because I was doing it. That was Bellator Newcastle, and that was the one where Tony injured his finger, because they had to then rematch. They had to rematch that fight.
They fought twice, didn't they?
Aye. Because the first one, Tony lost the first one. Tony was actually doing really well in that first one. I felt it was actually winning the fight, but then he got an injury. And then the second fight, Tony lost, and then obviously Rab, you fought Tony. But even when you're looking at the top 10, you see some of the names that are in there. You've got Thiago Silva. He's ranked number 1. I mean, he's lost he's lost his last two fights. One was 2019, one was 2018.
To be fair, he probably shouldn't really be in the UK heavyweight rankings anyway. It's only because he fought, I think, in KSW London. Then that's why he's there. And to be fair, I don't know why he's sitting top. He's on the decline, that boy, anyway.
Aye. Oh, definitely. He's in the definitely the back end. And I think, like you're saying, in terms of rankings, a win, if Mindaugas is sitting 6, a win there, you would automatically assume you go in and take that spot, eh?
I think so, maybe even 5, I don't know. Who's in the top 5?
So you've got, top 5, you've got James McSweeney, he's sitting number 5th, but he's lost his last 6 fights. Then you've got Brett McDermott, who's won in 2019, then won in 2017. He's got 2 wins. Carl Moore, Stuart He-Man Austin. But the Stuart will fight a lot of light heavyweight.
Yeah, he did at EFC, he was signed as a light heavyweight, but he did fight at heavyweight as well. I think he's quite good fighter.
Carl Moore not the same?
Aye. Carl Moore's pretty much the same.
Is he a light heavyweight and a heavyweight as well, that Carl Moore?
Yeah, I think it's you know what it's like with some of the guys, they'll sort of flip up and down their weights, depending on the fights and stuff like that. But he fought, his last fight was against Lee Chadwick at light heavyweight. Obviously Chadwick coming up for middleweight.
Is he still signed to Cage Warriors, that Carl Moore, or is he in Bellator now?
Well, I would assume so, because his last fight was at Bellator 227.
Right,
so that was back in Bellator. That was not that long ago. If you factor in the lockdown, take that away. It was back in September.
That is not real. Aye.
So realistically, when you move all that out there, you're basically there, because you've got about 4 names right away. You would take out the heavyweight rankings almost, wouldn't you?
Aye, pretty much. I mean, sometimes going with rankings is a bit silly, but
aye.
I mean, the guy that I'm fighting, he's a well thought of boy. He's obviously a good gym as well. That Calvin gym's is a decent gym. Do you know what I mean? He's training, pretty much full time, and they're still kind of open because of the gyms have been open now. But I think even before that, because they've got, because he's got fighters in the UFC and that, I think they're able to open the gym, do you know what I mean? So, whereas my gym can't open at all, so I've actually forgot what we're talking about.
Aye. So, like we say, if you a win here, and that obviously opens doors for you, you would think anyway, especially with the likes of Bellator and promotions like that.
Aye, well, Jude Samuel, I think, is Europeans operations manager or head of talent or something like that, and Jude was good to me when we got us a fight in Bama. So, you know what I mean? Well, in speaking terms, we've got that. Do you know what I mean? I've spoke to him before. He knows who I am. So hopefully Jude can, if I keep up the one form that I'm in the now, then here's hoping that these guys come calling. With Chris Clark, obviously, the fight agency at the helmet, I can let him kind of deal with that now, if you know what I mean.
Aye, and how helpful is that, having Chris Clark at the fight agency there, dealing with that side of things for you? Is that a relief, because you don't need to think about that, you just let them deal with it all?
The thing is, sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. I've took fights that I shouldn't have, and having somebody to be able to deal with that, you know what I mean, just takes that extra wee burden. I mean, he's dealing with these promoters on a weekly, monthly basis, do you know what I mean, maybe even daily basis, for all I know. So he's on speaking terms, and if I've got a heavyweight here, he's ranked in top 10 UK, he's on a win streak, here's his opponents, you know what I mean, he might have a say so on getting us a decent match. So aye, we just need to wait and see how it goes, do you know what I mean? But
aye,
it's not good.
That's it, man. And obviously, Stevie, we've got you on, so we've got to ask the question, as we always do. what is happening? Apart from that tap you're wearing, which wasn't approved, we'll need to edit this out. What's happening with you, mate? How's things?
All good. Obviously, the gym's still being shut's no ideal for getting training and stuff in. But just waiting to hear, man. Like, I know James had been speaking to a couple of promoters and that and seeing what's happening. So I think obviously we're coming to a halt. It's not been ideal. It's kind of came at the worst time again for me. Coming off a win in that there just at the start of the year, and kind of looking to kick on and get on some decent good shows now. But I'm just kind of keeping myself ticking over and training when I can. I'm getting training with my brother and that as well. Obviously he's got his fight coming up, so just keep myself ticking over until something pops up. But it's kind of looking like I'll not get a fight until probably nearer the tail end of the year, more than likely now. Maybe September, October, November time or whatever. But just keep training, man, and hopefully something decent pops up and I get a good opportunity next. Kind of hoping that's what's coming next. But I mean, I'll just take whatever comes. I can't hang about for too long.
Aye, that's it. It's just, at the end of the day, stuff like this, it's out with your control, so you can either let it weigh you down and just worry about what you should have and what you do. It's just one of the ones. Nothing you can do about it.
That's it.
Just don't go outside when it's thunder and lightning, mate, because I think, honestly, you'd probably end up getting hot with lightning or something.
Especially in that tap.
That's right. I'll see it. I don't want any tears at the end of the season, boys, when it's the 10.
The 10?
The 10.
Right,
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Nah, near the army.
Does that go 5 stars on that? How does it go 5 stars?
Because it's a 5-star tap.
TripAdvisor, TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor 5 stars.
No, right, it's okay.
No, it's not happening, mate. I'm trying to be professional hosting this.
Aye. Let's be professional here.
So the other thing, we just did the UFC at the weekend. Obviously, we've spoken a wee bit of this before we started recording, so we'll come straight in with Joanne Calderwood, who was set to fight Valentina Shevchenko. Obviously, Valentina got hurt, that fight got pushed back. Joanne took a gamble. Rather than wait, she wanted to get in there. She went in against Jennifer Maia. Unfortunately, things didn't go her way, and she lost the fight. She was submitted in the first round. There was stuff happened after the fight where Joanne passed out and had to go to hospital. There's nothing really come out of it. What actually happened there, we don't know. But give me your thoughts on the fight and the fact Joanne took that risk and it's backfired, which that's the game you play, I guess.
That's it. It's a shame, man. I think everybody, obviously in Scotland, would have been rooting for Joanne to win. She's taking a bit of gamble with that. Like, obviously, a big opportunity would have been the first Scottish fighter to compete for a UFC title, and like you said, she's taking a gamble and it's not paid off. I don't know exactly what's happened with the passing out thing. I actually didn't know that. Hopefully she's okay. It was the fight. I expected Joanne to win, to be honest. I thought Joanne would be too smart for her and outpoint her on the feet, and I thought maybe you could even put her away, but I think she kind of struggled to find her rhythm early, and then obviously the armbar happened, which kind of sucks a bit, obviously. But it was she didn't seem to. I think she came in slow and she was getting caught with like a lot of straight shots, which is not like her. Like her movement didn't seem on point, and you sometimes do start slow, and she maybe would have found her range maybe in the second and third round, but it wasn't good. It wasn't the kind of Joanne that we're used to seeing, which is a shame. But hopefully she can build herself back up and maybe get a chance at a title shot later on or whatever.
I think you've got to look at that division as well, and to be honest, to me it looks like Valentina right now, when you look at everything in the division, you don't really see anybody giving Valentina too much problems. She just looks at the moment too good for everybody. So I guess what I'm trying to say is probably Joanne wins another fight or so, and she would probably end up getting a title shot just by proxy Valentina going through contenders, which is how it's looking in that division at the moment. Obviously that can change pretty quickly, but it's going to be Jennifer Maia and Valentina next, and But what do you think, Rab, after watching that fight? Do you give Jennifer Maia much a chance against Valentina?
Her movement was awesome, mate. I mean, when she fought Joanne, I was really impressed. I mean, she made Joanne look as if she was a statue, to be fair. Like, she came in with that head movement, almost like Tyson-esque. And she pieced her up, to be fair, the first few engages. Like, she was connecting. And I don't know, like, Shevchenko's, I mean, it's going to be a tough ask for anybody. But, I mean, who knows? It's a fight game. But, I don't know if I want who I'd want to win, because obviously I want Calderwood to get the shot again. So I'm trying to figure out. I think Shevchenko would win, mate. To be fair,
yeah,
she's too good for everybody in that division.
And just one other fight I wanted to quickly cover before we wrap up. We had Derrick Brunson getting in there against the highly touted Edmund Shabazian. Shabazian obviously is Ronda Rousey's his manager, and a lot of people are looking at this guy as a potential title contender, but this was his first real test. And Brunson, I don't know what you saw, but that's sort of the best Derrick Brunson I've seen in there. What did you think about Brunson's performance?
I thought it looked really good. I think it was a kind of case of too much too soon for that kid, to be honest. I think because they are really trying to push that kid. I know that it is a good step up for him, but I thought Brunson was maybe too much a step up, to be honest. Even beforehand, I didn't fancy him to beat him, but I think was it second? Was it third round they stopped him, or second? Second day.
Third round,
I think.
He did put him down in the second.
You could see the kid he was tough, man. He didn't want to quit, but he basically gave up that. In the third round, he had nothing left. He basically just wanted to go out there and kind of go in his shield rather than quitting on his stool, because he kind of basically just went out, gave up a takedown really easily, and just let him punch him 2 or 3 times. And I thought it was actually a really good stoppage because of the damage he took in round 2. I thought Herb actually done a good job there. But that kid will be good, man. He's really young. I think he's only like 22, 23.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was too much too soon. I thought the wrestling, it just kind of shows. I mean, it's a long road. Do you know what I mean? It just shows that he's got holes in his game and he needs to work on like his takedown defence and stuff like that. So it just shows you the standards. Do you know what I mean? Going up the levels, that kind of you're in the best of it, like the best league in the world of fighting. So, man, it was a good experience for him. Like, he'll no losing and out of that fight, but it was just I think it was too much too soon for him.
They done the same way, like obviously Till. They're putting him in front of the absolute beast. You know what I mean? Brunson's no joke, and your main event. I know the guy's been. I know he's been banging people out in the first round and that, but I mean Brunson just looked far stronger, and even just size wise. Well, Brunson looked like a man, whereas he looked like pretty much like a teenager when he was fighting him. He just manhandled him. He was quite technical with his takedowns, and obviously stopping Shabazian's knockout. Do you know what I mean? So he would stand with him, strike with him, and then he would take him down. It was quite tactical. Do you know what I mean? That second, I think it was like the last 10 seconds in the second round. I remember watching and thinking, he's still in this fight, and then the last 10 seconds of that second round, I thought, he's not in this fight, he's done. I think it was an elbow.
It looked like he was out, eh?
Oh, man.
He caught me a couple of cracking elbows and opened them up. I think the problem as well is maybe Derrick Brunson 4 or 5 fights ago, Shabazian with a chance against, but Brunson is obviously went to hard knocks with Henry Hooft, and that's him now on a 3-fight winning streak, and defensively he's looked a really boat, but he seems to be putting his wrestling together.
His striking looked better too,
yeah. He looked great, but overall it's a learning experience for Shabazian, so but that's a fight game, isn't it?
That's it. You always get humbled eventually.
Aye, that's it.
Like
anyway, that's
I was going to say, everybody likes a second prize, but Rangers will be used to that.
Oh, come on, boys!
You don't get a second prize, Stevie, if you're in the pot for the second prize. I mean, half of them titles, son. We weren't even there, pal.
Meet me at West End Park. I'll fucking get shoe you in.
Wasn't that we in the back garden last week when I thanked you, man? Back. Have you been back since?
I was only on pads.
Right.
Aye, and that was enough for you.
Yeah, like a bitch.
Well, listen.
I took a bit of big off front pump.
Thanks very much for coming on the show, lads. Obviously, Rab, best of luck when the fight comes in September 5th, and that's Probellum, so that'll be available for pay-per-view then?
It's available for pay-per-view, I think, on the Probellum website, so I couldn't even tell you. I think it'll be on my profile on Facebook. They've asked me to put it up for them, obviously, to try and sell some tickets, so I know there's quite a few folk interested. There's hee-haw else today anyway, so put your hand in your pocket and get some MMA on the go.
And obviously, Stevie, we await with bated breath for you getting back in there. So, gym's opening back soon.
September.
Start of September. Hopefully, they bring it forward a bit. We'll wait and see. And thanks everybody for tuning in to the show as always. We appreciate it.